You've been talking, but is it really you? Today we explore how you can unmask the mic and find your true voice on Leading Out Loud.
Tonight.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Welcome to Leading Out Loud, the spiritual shift show that is equal parts high vibe and bullshit. I'm psychic astrologer Christopher Oteki, the sensei to SeriousJoy.com.
And I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium and mentor with ScottCruzPM.com. Hi, Christopher. How are you doing this week?
I am good, Scott. Thank you. I am just fine. I'm talking, but am I really being honest? Yeah, totally. I'm feeling really good, actually. I mean, this Leo energy is pretty intense. I didn't have any, for this last week, it's just been about getting my shit together and, kind of reorganizing priorities in my heart. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, nothing bad.
That's pretty simple. Yeah. No, I hear about that too. It's been like a change of direction for me, like of where I thought I was going. I'm kind of shifting directions. I'm going here. So it's been a lot of that type of heaviness. It's been thick. It's been dense, I would say, past week, for a lot of people too. I know density is the time for me to like take a step back and reevaluate things. And so I've been kind of reevaluating, do I want to go this direction or I want to go back to here? And so kind of going back to roots, I would say.
Me too. Or where I started, I guess maybe where I started, maybe I've come full circle on the clock. Actually, I'm about a week ahead of you now for some reason in lessons. Cause last week you were experiencing what I had just prior the week before. And now again, last week for me was really dense, really heavy. And just, I guess, not judging myself for, trying not to judge myself for everything, like that was really it, or judge that I've done anything wrong or things like that. Just, and the heaviness of like maybe acknowledging what I've been through, whereas before I was ignoring it,
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's just like, that was kind of me a couple weeks ago too, but I feel like this time I'm just like back to what's really important. I think I was, being overly critical about like doing a certain thing a certain way. I'm just like, what am I doing this all for again? Like I'm not doing it to achieve or accomplish anything. I'm doing it because it's a passion. And so just going back to passion.
Yeah. Well, I do like to achieve. I do want to accomplish things like make people laugh or, I do, but they're simple like that, for the most part.
That's passion, it's a passion you want to make people laugh, and it's like my passion, like music is another passion that I'm just diving back into, because I've been so heavily focused. I go to YouTube, and I'm just like, it's not my passion, it's just, I do it just to be accessible. So I'm really diving back into my music and maybe spending less time on the social medias.
Yeah, well, it's clearly not your passion, but anyways.
No, my work is my passion, but like, the whole like social media stuff and like this show's fun to me, it's fun for me. It's like, I'm doing all because I love the conversation with you. I love having the ability to express point of view and having conversation. So that's why I'm passionate about this, but having to like, I have to record this video for this, all that stuff. It's just not my passion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. And we try to get you through it week after week. It's true. Well, that's why I read
that. Like I got to do this, I got to create this and do this way. And I just got so wrapped up into that stuff. Like I said to myself, that's just not me.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Well, that's interesting you say that because that's kind of what tonight's show is going to be about is our authentic self or not. But before that, we have a new interesting week in the news. We're talking about the news, folks, just for the record, because we just want to have our psychic and astrological opinion on what's happening. We're not going to get into people or taking sides or anything, just as a disclaimer. Because we've seen a lot of, I hate politics. It's like, we're not talking about politics, but we're talking about what's going on. For instance, this whole thing with this last summit. Interesting. Trump, who is a Gemini, by the way, a step 22 Gemini, met with Putin, who is a Libra. And they met in Alaska, and then Zelensky, who was an Aquarius, showed up in D.C. with European leaders. And now they're trying to all negotiate peace in Ukraine. So bring that up just because what's your sense on that, Scott? What do you sense is happening?
Oh God. I think the whole, maybe Zelensky wants peace, but I don't know so much about maybe Trump and Putin. I think there's more about, this is the kind of, territorial things I feel like that's really going on behind the scenes. I think they're presenting that as such. I don't feel like that's really the goal here is for really a peace, not for at least, two of the parties. So I just think there's a lot of more about territorial control, power, authoritative, I want to take this land, and it just feels like a power struggle for me still.
Most certainly is a power struggle. I find it interesting they're all air signs, so I think for that reason it's doomed. Just not doomed in the sense of you need an earth sign in there. you need a water sign to deal with the hot emotions. Like three air signs kind of popping off. I don't know if there's going to be anything really of substance there.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, we're not getting the full versions of what's really happening either. It's just, right. I mean, it's easy for media. It's easy for them to just say a narrative or a tagline of something, and people are like, okay, that's cool. And to me, like, that's not enough for me.
Well, I know, but that's why we're asking a psychic, like, what's really happening?
Yeah, it's a power struggle. It's about they want land, and it's like, again, it's maybe peace for Zelensky, but I don't think it's peace for Putin and Trump. Right. Honestly, I'm not. It's not a favor thing. It's just a read.
Yeah. Interesting. I do think the one who's going to come out ahead on that is Trump, just in the sense of, having made, there's a lot of criticism that nothing was attempted at all. And now something's been attempted. So I think at the end of the day, he probably will get the most out of this moment, more, as far as benefit points or whatever that he'll use and cash in for something else, at least with his own base, certainly. You know what I mean? The thing about Putin is, I don't know, like there's something weird. His energy, I don't know. His energy is weird. You know what I mean? Like he's a weird guy. Whenever I tune into his energy, like in interviews with him and stuff, and people are like, he's the new Hitler or whatever. It's like, I think he's kind of, I don't know. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like, wanting to wipe out a race kind of thing. But I do feel like a mob boss will wipe out anything in the way.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he wants certain land, he's going to want to take it, and that's the authoritative power struggle that we have here. So Trump's trying to be, in on that too. And he's not. I don't think Trump's trying to find peace in the matter. No. But I do feel like Trump's being played a little bit as well. I mean, I think he thinks he's dictating, but I don't really feel like I kind of think he's also being played at the same time too. I mean, it's a big mishmash. He's got a team of people behind him too, and it's not just Trump either. Like people think it is.
I'll say this: the argument of Putin is that this, back in the old days, this was our land. Well, that was Hitler's argument too. This is all dramatic back in the old days. It's like the old days are the old days, y'all. That's why there's the word "old" in front of it. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not new. Our next little title here: Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of the glorious California, who is the Libra, by the way, another Libra like Putin. Oh, comparison? I don't know. Is putting a vote in place to allow for gerrymandering districts in California to be more Democrat in response to Texas efforts that made it more Republican.
Look, I get the whole fight fire thing, and I think that's exactly what Gavin's trying to do, but it doesn't make it right either. I think you're still kind of influencing an election to go a certain direction, so it's still, to me, not being completely authentic. But, I guess the argument is, well, if they did it, we got to fight back to come back. And it's like, well, we just have to set a different example, I think. I don't know if you noticed, also Gavin is also posting memes with Trump and like almost trolling Trump, doing the things and saying the things he said. So it's kind of comical to watch, but I don't think it's really going to get anywhere though. No,
I think actually okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It might. I know I might go going too long, but they might rally people up. That in itself might work. But the gerrymandering to me is that I don't feel like it's in our best interest, to so to speak. But so
I feel that both parties have made a critical mistake in denying without any with any other officially admitting that we cheat. Like that basically it's like Texas is we cheat and California's going, well, we're going to cheat too. And it's like, hello, I'm the American citizen. You're both cheating. Like, I think they've been foolish in this regard, which, honestly, I don't know if I've said this before on the show, but I get a strong feeling that we're going to have a constitutional convention, that we're going to fire everybody who's been elected in government. We're going to start over. And I feel like that's going to be in the next, 2 to 6 years, I feel. Yeah. So American people are not going to tolerate any of this anymore. And I'm glad you're going on record and saying that you're cheating. Thank you. Thank you for admitting it. Well, the people will get back to you.
The thing is, like, I as a psychic, yes, I predicted this in blogs a decade ago. And I was definitely seeing a breakdown of systems that need to happen. So it's almost like I knew the pendulum's going to swing right, then it's going to swing left. And then it's going to be, so where I think people are getting kind of nauseated of that pendulum swinging so extreme now. And so I think just all of these theatrics going on right now is making people see the bullshit on either side, because it's like, okay, the MAGA party, the conservative party isn't doing so well. That doesn't mean we go extreme, left either. Like I think people just find that balance. It will break down a lot of governmental structures that we're currently in right now. So and isn't Trump step 22? He's a disruptor in his astrology, right?
He is a disruptor. He's 22. Yeah, he's 22. And 22 is a wizard. I mean, he is a wizard. You got to give him that credit. Like the fact that he's even just alive is a wizardry. You know, because like he hasn't been killed or whatever. It's pretty intense. Like, yeah, I think both states have admitted. Actually, the two biggest states in the union have admitted that they cheat to win elections. So that's interesting. And then the last story: Israel, led by Benjamin Netanyahu, a 28-degree Libra. We have a theme here. Is calling for 60,000 reservists for a planned Gaza City offensive. So I guess he's calling to people because I guess Gaza is going to fight back for killing them. Well,
I mean,
that's odd.
isn't that kind of defensive? Isn't that kind of like defensive? I know saying offense is kind of defensive in a sense, but look.
Well, maybe it's being called an offensive when really it's just another
retaliation in a sense. I mean, really I get that, but I feel like again, this is a never-ending cycle with the Middle East. I mean, it's been ongoing for a long time, and so once we stop, at least Americans stop getting out of the oil in the Middle East, and we will stop putting our hands. Maybe we'll have some sort of peace if we stop trying to take over their oil in the Middle East.
Maybe we have some kind of power or influence over Israel if they hadn't blackmailed all of our politicians with dirty nudie movies and stuff like that, because that's what I'm hearing is the truth. Seriously, the Israelis have heard footage on everyone. Israeli intelligence, that is. But anyways, it's interesting. At the end of the day, first of all, I think there's a couple lessons here. One, anyone who's being slaughtered or hurt or whatever, raise your hand. Everyone in the world has had the lifetime where they did that. That's my belief. I think everyone has a lifetime where they just went through some horrible atrocities as a person and they learn things about themselves. I do believe that this is all a video game that we're in and that this doesn't matter when we wake up in heaven. So, it's not that they don't care, have compassion. It's that I know the net result, that we end up in heaven just fine.
Well, yeah.
And that's what
it's
faith
also
is,
understand that we're all in the right positions. You know what I'm saying? So whatever roles we're playing, like we're in the right role. It's there we're there for a reason. And so that's the whole emphasis of being in a dream or video game is like, we're all playing a part we're supposed to play, that we've chosen to play,
Totally. And sometimes when you don't have like a lot of originality to bring to earth, you'll be like, okay, I'll be one of those people slaughtered, just to prove a point this is wrong. I think people sign up to be part of groups and things when you don't want to have to do the conscious stuff. And it does show. I mean, the people that have died there are just horribly ridiculous. It's like should never happen. Being on earth should never be that way. It's like, I'm disgusted by it, completely. I'm disgusted that the world hasn't stepped in and said anything. I really feel that Israel has dirty pictures on everyone. That's why no one's saying anything. That's true. Yep. I really believe that. But
no, I agree. I've said before, and I'll say it again. I always feel like Trump was actually a puppet for the Israel leaders, not honestly Israel people, but the Israel leaders. I feel like he's a puppet to and owes something to them.
I don't think there's dirty pictures with Trump because I don't think he ended up having sex with people.
I'm just saying that's the I feel like he's manipulated by the Israeli leaders is what I feel like. You know what I mean?
Totally. Well, his whole staff, they have pictures on him, so he's
indebted. I just think he's indebted, right? But that's politics. That's people get into politics for so many different reasons, But yeah, the wonderful thing is, we are seeing a lot of us are just seeing through that we need better. We want better, and I think we're going to start experiencing that too. So I'm surprised at people I see waking up that I never thought would wake up are waking up. So
totally. And I do feel like this is the lifetime where we go as humans. We run the show. And sit down, not but by the way, this is interesting. So Putin, Netanyahu, and the governor of California are all Librans, and they're all creating shit in the world. That's interesting. No offense, Librans. No offense, but you can't fight the facts. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about if you're streaming live with us, we may call you out though, just so you know. And we like to dig deep and find your truth here. Okay. All right, you understand that, Scott?
I don't have to understand. I don't have to listen. I just like tune in and we're like, oh, that's what you want from me. I just use my psychic awareness to figure out what's going on.
Just throw him a fish and he does what he's supposed to do. Okay, just kidding. Like a trained seal. Let's throw you a fish. And he'll do what you have to do. Like our new attraction, Scott, the talking seal.
It's bullshit. It's true. I read it. Yeah.
So here's the first question to our audience: what do you really want more of in life right now? What do you really want more of in life right now?
Put it in the comments too, guys, because I want you guys to really think. If you can have something more, what would you want more of? And so, what do you want more of, Christopher? While they're pondering their,
this is gonna sound so Hallmark, but I want more laughter, and I want more joy, and I want more fun. I want more fun. I mean, I work like 65, 80 hours a week. So, and it is fun what I do, but it's not all the fun I want to have. But that's what I want. And I want the whole world to have fun. I mean, honestly, my secret agenda of Serious Joy is so that it'll be fun when I go out in public. I really want people to be healed and have fun, because it'll be fun for me if everyone's having fun. You know, like I'm tired of reading people being sad and hurting and all this stuff. I'm empath. I feel it all. And it's like, you know, it's just feeling all of it. It's tough on the spectator audience. So, all right, what do you really want?
Just even while I mean, I pass it to you to buy some time, because I don't know. You know, maybe because, you know, I don't feel like I'm really deprived of anything. I mean, there's things I want to achieve, but I don't feel like it's necessarily deprived me of wanting more of something, you know, because I always feel like it'll get there. And perhaps I just spent a lot of time just working on just being present. You know, before I used to be like the to-do list. My Virgo rising is like, this is what I want more. I gotta, you know, and I just got tired of doing that. So now I'm just like content where I'm at, and I know where I'm going. So that's where I stand on that question. I don't
know. All right, fair enough. Doesn't know. And I would say doesn't know means not enough time with the heart. Like you just have enough quiet time with the heart.
It means I'm just good right now, Christopher. I'm just good. I feel content. I think everything's just falling into play as it needs to. And I just, if anything, maybe I just want to be more. I want to be more creative. I want to be more, you know, innovative. Okay. You know, if I can think of that. You know.
All right, Chris, you need to find your voice. I want more truth, and thank universe for it now. Oh, we're about to get some, Kathleen.
Someone says we're glitching.
Number 2.
We're glitching. There's no sound, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's the internet. Like, you know, there's been a lot of weird tech stuff for you happening, Serious Joy and everything. I feel it's Uranus and Gemini personally that's causing all that. First thing is there's a lot of electromagnetic shit going on right now. Just things are going off that shouldn't, and you know, so I would say, you know, stop your browser and start the show again. You know, they're saying no sound in some case.
Daryl's like, you guys are glitching big time.
But, you know, Danielle Hall said no problem. She wants intimacy with her lover. That's great. Sounds come in and out.
Intimacy with
all right. Well,
lover.
That's actually not under our control.
Shouldn't the lover be providing that intimacy already?
Correct. Well, you know, shouldn't we choose someone where we have the intimacy there? Or, you know, yeah, that's interesting. I think intimacy is another one of my questions. Number 2, if money and opinions don't matter, what would you be doing instead?
Let's let the audience answer that. And I'm actually seeing if there's a bit of lag on really quickly here.
Just
checking.
Yeah. I mean, we can test the show on your browser and see if
it seems like if they rewind it back and don't watch it live, it seems like it's okay. Like if you just maybe if they wind it back, because I'm just looking at the replay. I'm before we're at, and it seems like it's fine. So what was the question now? What do we want more? Not that one, but what did you say?
Well, you know, if you didn't care about money or what people thought, what would you want? What would you be doing right now? You're not doing this for the money.
Yeah, there's no money. There's no money in this. But I am. For me personally, I was composing music for TV and film, and I still collect royalties on that, and I'm still doing music, and even with my clients and my spiritual work, and that's everything that I love. You know, so I actually would be doing the same thing. I turned down more money making things to do what I'm doing now. You know, so.
Yeah, totally. Actually, honestly, money and opinions have never mattered to me. And that's a problem. You know, I should maybe care about what the audience tells me, but I don't. I've always been in it for myself and what I enjoy, and I enjoy doing this. And the fact that I can make a living doing what I enjoy, that's it. I'm happy.
Would you rather make just enough money to be comfortable and do what you love than having a job that you're not really happy with and having all that money, then you're not really able to enjoy it? That seems just out of balance to me. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'll be able to enjoy
I'm talking about people choosing jobs they don't like for the money to make more money. And it's like, they're not happy. It's like we get all that money, but then you don't have anything to use the money, appreciate the money with. I'd rather have just enough where I'm very comfortable and can do what I want to do in my life and do what I love. And that's the position I'm at now. I'm comfortable financially. I do what I love, and I don't have any hindrances.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I agree. And anytime I have money, whenever I dream about having money, it's what I'm going to spend it on for other people and other things. Like I'm going to put all into more things I want to do for the world. It's just going to fund more shit that I want to do. It's not going to like go off and buy 20 Mercedes. Pretty happy with the one things I have, you know? Okay. And we have enough feedback on the voice, y'all. Roll back the video if you want to hear it stream good. The next one is, what's the one thing you've been tolerating for too long, Scott?
Oh my God. This is No, I'm saying this is something I just like recently was just like, I've been dealing with too long about, and this sounds weird, but people blaming me for the things they do to me, you know?
I know that's called gaslighting, buddy.
And then people understand and be up their aid, and so they just take advantage. Like, why are people blaming me for the things that they're doing to me and saying that it's like, and so I got to a point as of late saying I don't care. I'm not concerned anymore about that, because like I deserve the same amount of respect in return. And so, and I think part of being a light worker, part of doing work from the heart, you just want to help everybody. And so that there's boundaries with that. And we'll get into that later about when you start using your voice, how do you preserve it? But that's one of them I've been doing. Just, I'm like, I went to on the other end of compassion. Now I'm trying to come back and find the balance of like, no, I don't have to be compassionate. I can understand, but I don't have to give when I'm not being given to,
One of our viewers wrote unsolicited advice. Here on that one. Internet comments. Here
Yes.
Here on the internet comments. I
agree.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I agree with both those. Yeah. I'm actually in the same exact boat as you. I've been tolerating too long. Well, for so long, being the teacher sensei, I have just remained quiet with a lot of what I consider to be unacceptable behavior, because I was giving the student room to learn, right? But now I'm at a point where I'm like, you know what? If you haven't learned by now, fuck off. Like I'm at this point where I'm being extremely honest, and it's blowing people away. Like they're like, you're just so mean right now. I'm like, no, it's honesty. And I'm calling you on the things you've been doing, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, right, I'm done with it. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't care what you don't know. And it's like, so it's the same thing. People, also sometimes as a teacher, people will say, you're the reason why I'm, they'll be like, I'm firing you because you were this way. And it's like, wait a second, isn't that a way to get out of your homework? Like a lot of people have blamed me for really, and what's happening is they don't want to do the work. And so on an exit, they'll, I'm some sort of bad character, when in reality it's like, but you haven't done your homework the last 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing. And so it's like, if you're not going to show up, but the whole blame game, I don't know. I know it's about ready to end, because I think somehow the universe is going to realize that you are the creator of your reality, and everything that happens to you is your fault, so it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's coming.
Oh yeah, but that's part of the awakening. Is just, again, I'm broken record when I say it's being objective and unaffected. That's what we're coming toward. Like, I understand why they're like that. I'm not taking it personal all the time. And so, and that's the thing. I'm always have to, get the brunt of lots of times people throwing that at me, and, because I'm like, I don't have enough time to give around to everybody. And so, and it's been like, it's been consistent. I've been doing that for like decades, and I've gotten better at that, but I just realized what was holding me on is the fact of like, but I have to be there for them because that's what they see me as to do, and it's, so I'm like, no, because then I'm just like, I don't want to light fires and they start complaining. I'm like, well, let them complain. What do I care? Go talk about me online, because I wasn't pacifying you. And I cut off a 12-year friendship because of that too. Only called when you need a reading, from me, and never about always about them. And then when the time I pulled back, they're like, "You're so selfish." I'm like, "I've given you money, I've given you readings, and now I'm selfish." I'm like, "No more." Okay, it makes sense. And so it's sometimes compassion can get the best of us. And so
that's one of my problems is I've been too compassionate, which sounds really convenient. I've been too compassionate.
Or understanding.
But the truth is I have. I'm knowing more about their feelings than my feelings.
I think we sometimes be like, I understand what they're going through. It doesn't mean we have to participate in it just because we understand it,
And this is where my new philosophy, like, it's just a video game. You're going to wake up and realize we're just...
There he goes again.
So who cares? Who cares? This will be our final one, then we'll go to commercial. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do one of two here at the end. I think this is... what's the real reason you haven't started the things you keep talking about or dreaming about? Now, I don't think that applies to others.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to do too. Sometimes I'm waiting for the next dream to happen and tell me what to do. I'm always ahead. So I think part of my problem is that perhaps that I let it be a dream and not make it tangible enough for me. Like I'll do it and I'll do it just for myself, and I don't really share it enough. Like especially my music, I think I don't share it enough. You know what I mean? That's something I love. It's a dream. It's a passion. Like I should be like pimping my own shit out.
You should. You actually should. If you love it, yeah. For me, actually, it's not about following my dreams. I do that no problem. It's sometimes I'll be like, I promise people like I'll be on time next time, or I'll make promises that I'm going to change, or I'm a little annoying because I'm sloppy. And then I don't get it. I don't start it. Like it hasn't started yet. I keep saying it hasn't started yet. Well, the reason is because there's always stuff I didn't realize. Like, it's like I started to go in that direction. It's like, like 3 issues come out. I'm like, oh shit, but to the people, I'm like, I still want to have this together. Like, seriously, I just keep discovering more shit that I didn't know was there. So for me, I realized the answer is I'm going to be like my business partner. Because I say, hey, when we have that feature, he'll be like 9 months. I'm like, 9 months, like it's going to take he's like Scotty on the Enterprise. He'll like quadruple the time it's going to be and then deliver in 2 weeks. I need to do that now. I need to start saying I can do that by December. Like I need to play that game. So that's where he teaches me. But, I think it's an important question because I feel that a lot of people need to actually follow their dreams right now. In fact, from what I can tell, we're going to actually, let's take a commercial.
Speaking of dreams,
and let's come back.
Speaking of dreams, I'm actually talking about that at my live show tomorrow, and that can roll into our commercial because, I think dreams is a part. I always say it's a doorway to spirit. That's where you get your intuition. That's where you get your messages. That's where you get direction. That's where you get information from your past lives, right? So, we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and really kind of how to break them down, and maybe even interpret them to understand what they're really telling you. So I do that my live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Join me tomorrow. I'll also be doing live one-on-one readings as well. So catch you there too. But if not, you can always book a session at scottcruzepm.com.
Yes.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzepm.com to book your own personal session today.
Come alive. Where's the You Got Mail come from? That was interesting. That's funny.
Yeah,
I
have that as my mail notification. Right there, I think it's hilarious. You got mail.
Oh, that's hilarious. You got married. So we're talking about, so the real reason you haven't started the thing you were talking about or dreaming about, we'll go into that. We'll do the astrology first. This is going to be a compelling month coming up, y'all, with astrology. We have really what looks like to be a kind of a psychic surgery removal of the old life and a new life coming in. We have a new moon at 0 degrees Virgo. We have a full moon lunar eclipse at 15 degrees Virgo and 15 degrees Pisces, respectively. And then we have a new moon at 29 degrees. So that means that we're planting a new 0 and a new 29, and we're karate chopping 15. That is a perfect collapse of the current Virgo I become consciousness, which tells me that we are going to become something different and our world's going to become a different world. And it's going to happen precisely because it hits 0, 15, and 29. There's nothing more precise than that. And so we have the new moon this Saturday at 0 degrees. And 0 Virgo is zeroing out your relationship basically to your body. So I do think that anyone with unattended health issues are going to find that it flares up. I think there'll be a lot of dis-ease. Many people dying during Virgo. I think a huge mass exodus of people, it just gets too heavy. And they just have done nothing to lighten the load. They've done nothing to forgive themselves. And so the body's like, fuck it, and they leave. So I think these are planned exits in most cases that they just didn't want. They want to come in after the ascension. But it does look like things are going to change forever. And a couple of predictions I have, I'm going to be bold and have some predictions. I predict there's going to be new information about 9/11 in the next 30 days that we never knew before. And I predict that there's going to be some indictments that surprise us. And that's come to my mind psychically. But otherwise, we have some squares going on. And ultimately, what we're going to have during this next month is all the planets will then be retrograde, Saturn retrogrades, not Saturn retrograde, Uranus retrogrades, excuse me. So everything is retrograde. That means that we're sort of floating after the planets that beat us up. And it means that with the Earth in Pisces, we are downloading our new spiritual story. And we are, basically launching the next version of the game. So in my language, life is just but a game. And so we're going to basically reset and go to the next level. Scott,
Well, we've
what do
been
you pick up?
saying for the past month about using our heart, and that's to kind of like set us up to volley us into execution. So I really feel Virgo season is about really being precise in what you're doing and your behavior, your actions, and starting to participate now in the things that you love and enjoy, and using your voice to do so. So there's going to be a lot of things within yourself that's going to make those realizations and push us forward. And for those of you who've been doing the work, you might have really unexpected opportunities unfold for you in the next month or so, because you put it out there, but for you might be out of the box. It might be something that seems far-fetched, but it really isn't. Now's the time to execute. It's time to take that leap forward right now. And I think that if you don't, you'll kind of miss the bus. You have to wait for the next cycle to come around. So not that there's a limit of opportunities, but sometimes there's a cycle. And if we miss that turn, we'll have to wait for that turn to come back around for us. Make sure you're not doing that. So a lot of the introspection will turn into expression. Virgo season, is very much about, especially I was saying about, I predicted, 2024 about Virgos in 2025 using their voice and being heard and making an impact. So with that energy, with the actual Virgos they're actually experiencing in Virgo season, we should be using our voice also to make an impact. And, Virgos will also be very much recognized for things they maybe had not been recognized before, taking the lead. So that's our time to do that in whatever environment we're in. So I definitely feel like there's going to be a lot of that type of movement when it comes to expression, precision of how you're executing things in your life, and a lot of joy behind the excitement of doing so. And I think that's what we're going to experience the next month. So on the downside, again, I agree with you as far as there'll be a lot of illnesses. If there's been trepidation of, health issues, they might manifest too this time around. And so almost like, we're putting into gear the things that we really know we need to start participating in. And that means, that you have to be in ill health to learn a lesson. That would also manifest too. So it's be a lot of that extremes in a sense, So we have to be very, very conscious of this, but I was telling a client today that there's a lot of stress in his life that was causing sinus issues and inflammation and cysts forming, and I said, yeah, because if you're suppressing all that information and all that energy within you, it has to turn into something. It will crystallize into a health issue, and so using your voice is actually good for your health. So,
oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially if you have digestive issues, that means you're having trouble digesting something, like spiritually or like processing. And I don't know if it was this week. I mean, a week ago, I had a breakdown at 4 a.m. through cramping in the stomach, but then I ended up crying like a baby for 2 hours. I was just like, okay. And I think I just hadn't digested that emotion, because emotion is energy in motion. If you just trap it, don't give it a way out, it starts to build in pressure. It starts to create problems. So there's definitely that. Ultimately, I think also, I think we're getting our new 5D gateways, and I think, dormant DNA is going to open up, or something's going to happen to our biology. I think this is the new human, and I spell human in my book, HUEMAN, the human, the colorful varieties that we're supposed to be, not all little Xeroxes of Kardashians. But ultimately, I feel like this is going to be interesting. And I think this is the start of the game. So Robbie Hunt and I actually just did a Mega Monthlies live today earlier. It's available on all of our social media platforms, but we talk about all the extensions of what's happening in the Virgo consciousness. And ultimately, we feel that this is the beginning of the game. We feel like let the games begin. This is the big event we all came to see, which is whether or not Earth will, of course, adopt the light and go onto a path of happiness on Earth, or will continue to decay. And most of us know the answer to that. We're gonna win, and we're gonna have the light prevail. But it's gonna be compelling and fascinating to watch how it happens, and what happens to Newsom when he's caught. I mean, whatever. Just kidding. But that sort of thing. I think it's gonna be funny and interesting, not funny, but interesting and compelling to see what was really going on. And I think that starts all in Virgo. Astrologically, it starts with this. These eclipses give us the new hardware. So look at our body as the hardware, and then we have our thoughtware and our spiritual operating system. So I think we're getting a whole new, game console, if you will. And then in Libra, it's all about questions of justice, right? And so that's where it really gets heated. It looks like it stays.
Yeah, what's the new firmware? We're getting a new firmware upgrade, basically. We're rewiring how we're functioning. We're getting those upgrades. And so, and it's not gonna be easy for a lot of people to handle. And so, we can, the problem is we do get what we want, especially we project it, but if we're not psychologically or energetically ready for it, it's going to feel very scary and very, I would say, traumatic for a lot of people. And the world might be pulled beneath you because you said you wanted it, you put yourself in what you deserve, but you haven't prepared yourself for it. So now you got to either sabotage it or go with it and take that leap of faith in order to understand what's being presented for you. So there's a lot of people who don't understand. They're getting what they want, just coming in a package they were not prepared for.
Yes. I think I do. I was showing a couple images when I channeled this myself, and one of them was people going insane, like people flipping out, because they just can't change. They can't handle the channel switch.
Yeah.
There's just nothing laid down. They're just too tight. There's too holding on to the old, way of seeing things, and they just can't handle it. That's why I say there's a mass exodus. There's a lot of people who get off, basically it's like, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats for the biggest game in the world. And some people are like, they're just going to leave, they're going to take off. And so I'll come back and reincarnate when it's all done. They don't want to be here during it. That's cool too, man. If we do really realize that we can beam in and out really quickly, it's been said that in the ancient times before, Atlantis fell and whatnot, you just laid down, you said to your friends, I'll see you later. And you laid down, you died. Like you just died. There was a ceremony, there's a party. It wasn't a bad thing. Everyone knew where he's going. Everyone knew they'd be back. And most of them were happy they got a break. So it's a different philosophy entirely to be proven. I also predict, I'll just say this, not soon, but I feel in our lifetime without question, proof of God. I feel science will find proof of God.
Well, they discovered a God particle already,
They say, but until like we can beam Leonard Nimoy back for a minute or something, until we can, until something, it's going to take something cool, to really believe, but I have no doubts of the afterlife. I've had so many miracles happen in my life, so many undeniable that I've total confidence that I'm correct about what I feel. But you have to go through that process. You have to ask for it to come, show me the evidence in my life, God.
I just think it's just rational. I mean, everything's so designed so brilliantly. There's this intelligence, but we all live it for no reflection of it, no other higher energy to look down. So it's just all this life exists for just no see, everything has a reason and a cycle and a purpose. Living life and not remembering it, it makes it not purposeful. And so that just doesn't seem logical that there's no life after death, or there's no continuation of consciousness after a physical life. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make rational sense.
Yeah. Well, if it was America as the creator, we do make great things and just throw it away. But like I don't think creator does, so
He's trying to.
Actually, when you start thinking about it, it's like if in fact it is like my latest theory is whatever. It's like I call it a game, but the truth is we know you drink a fluid, you lay down, you fall into a meditation, and you incarnate on Earth. That's what the heaven perspective. So this is all a trip into this weird wonderland, like a drug trip, basically, right? So understanding and knowing that, then we really have nothing to worry about, ever. There's nothing to worry about. It's all simulation. But anyways, let's move on to our next topic, shall we? Maybe the topic of the week, and that is dealing with our truth. So let's get to the heart of tonight's show, which is why do people really hold their tongue, which we're calling mask the mic, and what are the consequences as a result of not speaking your truth? I guess that's really what this is. Mask the mic is actually her masking, not speaking the truth. That's ironic. And she's a Libra. The fourth Libra of tonight. Right, our producer.
They're on this end of the scale. They'll come back at some point.
These are good. They're actually reinventing themselves, and I think that, she's actually sneaking it past the mic, having us speak her truth. Right, exactly. So here's the thing: protection from judgment. I think people don't say the truth because they are trying to keep the world from judging them. And the world is very judgmental. Just look at the comments on our show, but you'll see that it gets tiring, it's hurtful, it gets overwhelming. But I think people mask their tongue and don't say the truth because they're afraid of judgment, rejection from the world, not liking them, and criticism. How do
I respond to that? Because I agree with that. So what's the countering of such? Like, how do you counter those things?
Well, no, maybe you provide a little psychic insight on why that's happening.
That's to me, that's human nature. Like, so that's always happened. I mean, we've always been judgmental. That's why we have kings and queens, and that we have religion, because it's always been this way. I think that what we have to be doing in understanding such is that, first of all, we are tribalistic, whether people want to believe it or not. We crave connection. We crave people. So what way do we actually, get that connection is through acceptance. And so if we feel like we're not going to be accepted, then we will hold back, and because of criticism, and we don't want to be alone. And that's where it really stems from in human nature. But I think we have to understand, where's the criticism coming from? Where's this judgment coming from? Like, consider the sources so it doesn't actually become a detriment to what you're trying to say. Because at the same time, it's like when you're reserving your voice for somebody else because of your rejection, they become the dictators of your happiness, not you. They become the dictators of what you feel or don't feel and how you participate in life. So does that make rational sense why somebody else, or the invisible audience that I say that we have in our minds that we make decisions off of, most people don't give a shit. I tell people this all the time. Most people don't care. I don't have people call me up, ask me how I'm doing. No. They all expect me to do it for them, right? And so people just don't care. And so, and it's not to sound cold. It's just free yourself of the pressure. That most people, if they want their opinion, they're going to give it. They're going to be keyboard warrior fine because they don't find any other way to use their voice, right? So, but most people really don't care. So release the burden to say to yourself, it's all about what you deem to be necessary, how you wish to express and experience your own life. Then you start becoming less concerned about the judgment, the criticism, and all that other bullshit.
Well, I agree with all that, but I'm going to throw in a 5D thing here, which is that if you're being criticized, it's because you're criticizing yourself on the inside.
Well, if you're affected by it, if you're affected by it, yes.
No, both. I think I think, Scott, even you've had a lot of waves of criticism. I think it's because you would have self-criticism and then you would probably take it back because you're a light worker. But I think if we are attracting critics, we are being critical of ourselves somewhere else. So we're being critical of ourselves. That's why we're attracting critics.
But I also think if you put yourself in an environment to be criticized, and that's just part of the territory, because if I think that what we react to, we relate to. So if you get to a point people criticize, you just don't care, you don't relate to it, then you're not doing that. It's the reaction to it, I feel like, what makes it evident that we're experiencing that or doing it to ourselves.
Actually, I agree with you, but I believe it's a reaction to ourselves. So if someone criticizes me, the reaction to myself is what determines the next moment, not the reaction to the critic.
Yeah.
And so, right. Totally. And so now I react with they're all fucking crazy, honey. You're perfect. And that's how I go. Another topic on this is people are worried about belonging. They're worried about fitting in. Their fear of being, the other person, the black sheep, the this or that. And so because they're afraid they'll lose their seat in Congress, they mask the mic.
Well, I mean, again, people wanting to fit in. I'm asking, what do you try to fit into? Because it's almost such a blanket statement, because there's so many different groups of people. Now we can see online that we have access to having a eye hole into, all these different communities of people that you never thought existed. So I think that's helpful to us to understand, well, we can't fit into every group. So it actually helps us to narrow down where we're trying to really fit in. Using your voice will let you understand that if you have that perspective, others do too, right? And so then we can find our tribe in a sense. So I think that this is kind of the 5D evolution I think that I find people are doing now with their perspectives of saying, and I think there's been a lot within our culture wars, which has been actually very beneficial, of people being very much pushed and thrown in their faces about certain things of differences. And so we get to a point where we're sick of hearing it, that we just somewhat tolerate it and then we become okay with it. So I think people are now finding out that they can fit into, they can find their group now. There is an avenue, and so that's because I think that's what's shedding the layers of not really trying to fit in, and actually now it's the trend to be an oddball.
Well, that's the age of Aquarius. I mean, I think the age of Aquarius is the individuality first and foremost, but along with the individuality in the age of Aquarius is the idea that you're not supposed to be liked by everyone, right? A piranha is not going to be liked by fresh meat, and there's just. Look at nature. It's they stay away from each other. You don't see, coyotes living with hens. They just don't do it. They don't belong there. So I think you have to understand that not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's supposed to like you. That's not the way it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be liked by everybody. And if you are liked by everybody, that means that everyone is boring as hell and no one's different at all. That just is blah. So, I agree. It's about belonging. You belong where, Age of Aquarius says it with the two wavy lines. It's where two hearts beat as one. If your hearts are both beating the same thing, you belong with each other. If your hearts are clashing, like a bad DJ, you don't belong with each other. You just live with it. It's fine. By the way, in heaven, it sucks. We're all one and we're all happy. And you don't get any time alone in heaven. You can't just hang out with your friends. This is freedom, man. Just hang out with the people you like the most. This is freedom.
And I think we're evolving into more acceptance and less judgmental. It's hey, we don't resonate, but good for you. Do what you do, and I'm gonna do what I do. So I think people are gonna stop picking those scabs now and just let people be who they want to be. And I think that's the whole point. I think that we're trying to evolve into now. Especially with the culture wars we've had. Right. And so I think people are starting to recognize they can do more of that.
Yeah. I also think we need to develop some diplomacy. So it's okay, if you're going to go enter and talk to the piranhas, why don't we all agree that we do it this way? I think there should be some protocol when you're in a different world or different, mutually respected protocol, because, there needs to be that, because we should be living side by side. I mean, who knows? If when the aliens come down, if it turns out that they pooped by, putting a gas above their head and they do it at dinner, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? We're gonna have to get along. We're gonna have to figure out a way, build restaurants with more ventilation, something like that. All right. So some people hold their tongue because of performance to meet others' expectations and be a good daughter or a good leader or good this or good that. So what about that when you're holding your tongue to appear
Well,
good?
again, it's kind of like correlates what we were just saying before. But the question I would ask you to pose yourself, who do you want to be happy? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to live in your own essence? Do you want to feel peace? Because you only feel peace if you allow yourself to embrace your inner voice, your inner perspective, your own expression without worrying about people's judgments of you and what they say or not. So, holding your peace, I would say you're not holding peace, you're holding it in, you're holding resentment, you're holding a lot of bitter, negative energy inside. And so, you're not keeping, I tell people you're not keeping the peace at all. And so, sometimes you have to understand when to use your voice and also when not to, because sometimes it's just not your place and sometimes it is your place. And I would say if you have to stand up for somebody, would you want if that was your child, would you want someone to stand up for your child? So do the same thing in return, that use your voice if you have to put something in its place and know when you don't have to. And so I think when we understand that parameter, we'd be less concerned about the response we get, more focused on what is right and what is just and reasonable.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. I feel, first of all, good is a relative term according to other people. So I really don't allow the world to determine what I think is good or bad. But when I am, in a place that has certain rules that they have, I will play by those rules when I'm there. I think it's respectful to play by Rome's rules when I'm in Rome and to play by this rules when there. I think that's respectful to play by their rules. But I really don't play a person and pretend to be what they're looking for, in order to get what I want, kind of thing. I just respect what they're doing. But if you ask me directly, I'll tell you, I think it's all bullshit. You guys go ahead. Actually, here's another reason. So sometimes people hold their voice and their truth because they're trying to maintain control. They want to actually manage people's perception of us. Now, this one I'm guilty of because I sometimes don't want to hear it. And so it's like, I won't tell this person that because I know their little judgy side's going to come out and they're going to overstep and they're going to talk and they're going to give me a lecture. It's just like, so you just will not know, I have a friend, Gwen, who's also a teacher at Serious Joy. She's got a saying I still say, truth is a privilege, not a right. You are privileged to know the truth. It's not your right to know the truth. And I didn't promise I came down here that I'd tell everyone the truth. I'm not going to lie to you, but you'll get to know, if I'm omitting something, that's my business. I'm not here. So I'm not in front of an oath here, promising to tell everyone every dirty thing and everything I'm ashamed of. No, sorry. That you have a right to privacy, I think. But, people, I don't know. I think we have no choice with idiots to control the perception. Otherwise,
why would you care to? And so what's more important?
Well, I like working while naked, but if I do it to get the mail, I'm controlling the perception then by putting on clothes.
Yeah, but again, we have to understand the guidelines, right? What we all agree collectively, right? We all agree that it's respectful to wear clothes, right? So when we understand what's agreeable collectively, and we have that default, then yes, and we can be unapologetic in a sense. But I was the person that was always very unfiltered, and I'm still unfiltered. But I was a point where I just didn't care at all. And then I started to realize as I matured, I'm like, well, it's good to filter and soften the edges a little bit, so you could be more people could understand you better, or people could be more relatable to certain things that you're saying. And so I understood how to also want to integrate with people, but also not let that affect my own individual perspective. So it's
what they do after. Well, people like they perceive me. I have issues where they perceive me to be up to no good. I have a lot of people who they do. I honestly am the good guy. I am the guy that's like, hey, would you like this or like this? There must be something wrong with him. He's got something up his sleeve. And so it's like, okay, you perceive me as
if you're driving around in a white van trying to sell ice cream, they're going to think that. So stop doing that.
Or offer a kid a piece of candy. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. But the truth of the matter is, so then they'll go call the police or something. They'll go do something. I'm like, motherfuck. It's like, come on. That's when I get upset. It's just like they feel like they have to tell the world. And it's like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't even talk. I have that all the time.
I just think that, again, there's a duality to everything too. So like, if you make an impact on somebody, if you try to make a positive impact, they might encode it as negative. I've had that happen too. It's just like, no matter what, if you make an impact on somebody, they might misread it, and so it can go either direction. And so I used to care about that. I don't care about that anymore. because in my life, that's been
Well,
an ongoing thing for me, the judgment with the, the religion and the religious cult I was in and the conversion therapy, all that stuff of judgment. And so I just got exhausted. And everybody here that's dealing with that will get exhausted at some point from it. They'll get exhausted. So I just don't care anymore. You'll get to that point.
Yeah, that's true. Most of the time when you're judging others, you're projecting some pain thing onto them. I mean, what people are seeing a lot of times, like that's why a lot of talk about the current president and stuff like that. I'm like, when people hate that much, when you hate something that much, you're hurting the past. This guy, this girl, they're reminding you of it. A lot of times when you're really upset about someone, it's because they're reminding you of a pain that you've stuffed under, like that last segment when you've let the emotions stuff under. And so you're reminded of it. And you just like, this must, you just assume that what you're looking at is it, and you don't realize you get subconscious layers of projection going on there.
Yep.
That happens a lot too. Yeah. So yeah, we'll just have to we'll do one last one here on this particular one. And that is, let's talk about the other reason is fear of vulnerability. People are just afraid to be vulnerable. And so being honest and being authentic is just too scary. That's why people
I'm sorry. When people say I'm afraid of being vulnerable, when you withhold yourself, you're vulnerable. Because then anyone can influence your perspective. Anybody can sway you to act a certain way. So to me, the fear of being vulnerable and not taking action is you're vulnerable. Because you're already making decisions based on how somebody else is going to behave with you or not behave with you. So I would say you're already vulnerable because you can't have fear for something you're not already in. And so, or resonating with. Mm-hmm. And so for me, understand that, when you take control and you don't allow people to filter your point of view, you can't be open to any, and we say vulnerability is so generic. We're talking about vulnerable to pain because we say vulnerability as a general thing. What do you fear of being vulnerable to? And so people figure they're afraid of being vulnerable to pain. And so when people dictate your happiness and you repress yourself because of other people, you're already vulnerable to pain because you're easily swayed and manipulated, so to speak. But when we don't do that and we're firm in our voice, firm in our foundation, then it doesn't matter. We're not open to vulnerability to pain, in that sense. So.
Well, I feel that if you're vulnerable, you're lacking boundaries.
But
you have not defined ahead of time what you want to happen, not happen. Vulnerability comes from a lack of boundaries. So for instance, I feel most vulnerable when I first start dating someone, because then I have at some point you got to talk about all the skeletons or all the things that are, that you should disclose. You know what I mean? At that point, I used to feel very vulnerable. And I was scared to have that conversation about things that, the life I've lived and the hard times I've gone through, because I fear the judgment of losing the person I'm really attracted to, but I realized recently but I don't have any boundaries. So going in now would be like, okay, here's the boundary. I'm going to be honest, but if this person judges or doesn't like it, I'm going to leave. That's the line. If you define the lines ahead of time, you won't be vulnerable.
Well, I just think we have to stop using that word so vaguely. Vulnerable to, because if we just say, I don't want to be vulnerable. Well, to what? We got to emphasize what we're afraid of being vulnerable to. And then what's that?
I don't think we know. I don't think we know.
We do.
I don't think we know. When I feel vulnerable, I'm so I don't know, ashamed or worried or feel naked or whatever. I'm so caught in that feeling. I actually don't know why I'm there. I just can't.
Again, shame stems from something, judgment, criticism, right? Because again, if you can only feel shame if someone is somehow putting any type of criticism or judgment upon you, it would take another person to influence that shame. Otherwise, we're just by ourselves. There's no shame because we don't have anyone to bounce things off of too, right? And so, but if we allow ourselves to dive deep and say, what am I fear of being vulnerable toward? Then we can get more to the root of the cause. What's repressing us or having ourselves hold back because we just think vulnerable. I'm like, that's always sounds weird and people just use it so vaguely like that. Vulnerable to what? And I want people to ask that within themselves.
Well, that's the thing. The question of vulnerable to what is the beginning of where the boundary goes too, by the way. We're on the same page with different sides of the wall. All right. Well, that was a great wrap up. We have a little commercial here to talk about, you'll see. Let's roll the commercial.
Aloha. I'm Mary, and I'm inviting you to experience the mystical world of the tarot with me. As a tree-hugging dirt worshiper, a retired wildlife biologist, and a sprite of the forest, my readings take you into the realms of elemental creativity to unearth a deeper awareness for those big decisions that you have in life. The first 50 viewers to email me with the coupon code below and book a reading will receive 50% off that reading. I can't wait to see what the cards have in store for you. Mahalo nui loa.
Hello, I'm Sanandra, founder of CT Organics. We are celebrating our 30th year anniversary as a small business with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. To celebrate our 30-year anniversary, enter code word JOY30 at checkout and you'll receive 30% off any individual CT skin and hair care product.
Happy anniversary, CT!
Are you looking for inspiration to grow your conscious business? Sears Joy's Board of Light is a sacred alliance of lightworkers, visionaries, and spiritual leaders dedicated to awakening conscious leadership. As a member, you'll receive professional support in the forms of bi-monthly Congress of Light meetings, exclusive community networking, and an array of guest speaker webinars each month to guide you on your personal dreams. First quarter guest highlights include consciousness architect Lisa M. Brazelton, Dharma coaching expert Sahara Rose, and Chiron specialist Karen Croney. Don't miss this profound lineup of wisdom. Join now for only $250 per year and be a part of the enlightened professional re-evolution. What are you waiting for?
The professional revolution. Oh my God, I love that. We're doing good there. We're doing good. Got it. Yeah, I'm excited. Board of Light. Yeah, that, if y'all know, that is like basically we're gonna get together and just talk about best practices, share business ideas. We got Sahara Rose, who's like the #1 podcast for spirituality, by the way, millions of downloads. So and two other great ones. Lisa Brazelton is amazing. Also, what was the third one? I can't remember, but I'll plug them too. So remember. But anyways. It's great. And we're just meeting as lightworker, as leaders saying, hey, how should it be done? How could it be done is a question there. How could it be done? So that brings us to literally the same thing for us, Scott. How could it be done? How is it that we can actually find and utilize our true voice? That's how we're going to wrap up this show, talking about in the last 4 minutes solutions.
Well, the first thing for me is what do you love? What are you passionate about? With my work, like I love it. I love the ability to connect with people. I love the ability to see the what I've worked on spiritually and see how it actually brings a positive change. Like, to me, I love that. And so therefore, what someone says, skeptics say, I don't care. I've had enough experiences, enough, things in my life to confirm my experiences and to revel in that joy of it. So when you find what you love, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what other people think and care. So nurture that, nurture what you love, express it, and make it reasonable for you intellectually to understand why you have to do those things. A lot of times we keep it as a dream. We don't like intellectualize and make it kind of laid out for us how we can see ourselves expressing it. So it doesn't become rational, so we don't do it. I would say make it rational for yourself and start with what you love.
Well, finding your authentic love voice, I agree 100%. Your authenticity is what you love. What you love is who you are, period. And I feel like part of the problem, at least with me, was I was judging myself for what I loved. I was judging myself for the things I liked. And that's because I knew I'm a guy who can get along with a lot of different people. I know how to get along. Maybe it's a survival technique. And so I'm always going to piss off somebody because I have groups of people that don't think that's right, but they love me. And people that don't think this right, that they love me. And so it's like someone's not going to be happy because I attract so many different varieties of people by nature. And like I said, if I'm not around those people, I play to their rules. I play to their culture. I don't bring up the stuff they wouldn't like, and I'm not trying to manipulate them. I'm just like, they don't need to hear about that. It doesn't matter, So a lot of my fear was like, someone's not going to be happy. And that was the big thing. And the embarrassment and losing of them or whatever. As it turns out, they come on more of the authenticity path. I mean, for me, my authentic voice started one-on-one with people. And in relationships where I just went ahead and was honest in one relationship each relationship at a time, and faced the scary stuff with the people that had been my friends for a long time or whatever, who had proven that, they said they wouldn't leave me. They said they wouldn't judge me. So I'm going to go ahead and take the risk. Right. Once I realized, I realized, first of all, that most of what I was concerned about was not even fucking true at all. They're like, what? You thought what? Like, everyone's just like, what the, don't put that in my mouth, those words. And I was like, realizing a lot of it was my imagination. Most of the perceived and fear of judgment was all my imagination. And what they actually judged me about was those shoes. Like, it's those shoes I can't stand. It's like, what? So it was a real eye opener there. And now I moved to the point where I'm willing to be authentic, on camera. I think LOL was where I was willing to be fully authentic. This is a show where I'm fully authentic, I play like a newscaster in Namaste Today. I'm an interview on,
there's a lot of people in the spiritual communities that preach about your authentic self, but then they get mad when people do it. or they criticize people when they're doing it. And so it's like, there is a lot that even within our own communities, they're like, be authentic, your authentic self. And then when you do, they want to criticize and critique you for doing that. And so, when you find what you love, all that nonsense is just noise, internet noise that is irrelevant to, but I also like to kind of also inspect, like, okay, is this criticism something I could work on? And then I like to always consider, and I'm like, no, they're just being a bitch, and I'm like, whatever. And then sometimes I'm like, you know what, that is a good criticism. I don't like hearing that, but I could work on that. So I think if we also allow that to be roadmaps for ours and see what we resonate with or not, could actually help us to really achieve the things we want to achieve. Sometimes Spirit will come to you in those comments. Spirit sometimes will come through those comments and give you those messages through hateful people sometimes. And that's when I had to realize too, that's like Spirit's trying to nudge me with that hateful comment to wake up to something.
It's not always hateful too, but my issue sometimes with that is that it's not that they're right. You're right. I see that. Well, but it ain't gonna kiss the ring. Yeah. Like usually there's like a lot of a lot of times it's like padded with like, now kiss the ring. Like it's like, no, I made a mistake. This doesn't mean I'm going to my knees.
They're not the importance. I just like take the message of Spirit. Yeah.
Well, I just mean a lot of people, there's a beat after accepting it. Like to some degree, I've been unwilling to accept what they're saying just because what comes after that, punishment, sentencing, it's like, a lot of times it's not the judgment, it's the punishment afterwards. So there's like some sort of punishment. And it's like, God, I'm going to go through your punishment. But I think one way to be authentic is with boundaries. Again, I mean, I keep saying the word, but it's something I've realized. It's like, I'm going to share something with you, Scott, but but by sharing with you, I'm assuming that you're not going to share it with anyone else. I assume that we're going to keep this between us. I assume those are all boundaries. I'm like laying out the groundwork that we agree upon. And if they're like, well, I'll share it with someone else, like, well, never mind, I have nothing to say. I think to some degree we have to lay out the rules. And so we could be more authentic if we knew this would not happen that we're afraid of. I knew this wouldn't happen that we're afraid of. That's a boundary. That's where you're saying, this is where I'm comfortable. I can share and open up with you if you can maintain this agreement, and if that's the case, then fine. Yes, I'd like to be fully honest.
Yeah, I agree. That was a lot. That was a big. Was
that a lot?
That was a big show. No, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And I just think sometimes people just want to be patronized. I feel like sometimes they they want to be patronized. That's all they want. That's all they want. So sometimes I'm like, let's learn the art of patronizing, because sometimes it's like, you got it, you're right, you got it, you're good, you're good. Sometimes you just have to understand that that's how you can set a boundary too. It's like, okay, you got it, sure, you're right. Just patronize them, because sometimes people just are looking for that, and then you can set your boundary as well.
Yeah, some people, and there's certain groups, and everyone can understand this, where they're addicted to addicted to the drama. And so they don't have passion. They're not pursuing things in their life. There's usually people who have nothing going on in their life, and all they want to do is sit around and talk about so-and-so and how bad they are, and then swing the rope to so-and-so and how bad they are. And this sort of like just this negative brouhaha, that happens, where they're really feeding off of the rush of the gossip or whatever.
And those are the people I'm talking about who they just they want the patronizing. Okay, you got it. Sure, you're right. Okay, yeah, I know something. Those are the people that no matter what, that's how you set your boundary.
Yeah. But I also know those people go home at night, look in the mirror, and they're just as hard to themselves. And that's the sad thing. That's how they are themselves, to being that way to you. And that's unfortunate. I enjoy myself when I go home, so actually I never leave home anyways. But that's all we have time for this week, brother. What do you have going on here tomorrow? So once more time.
Tomorrow my live show, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. The topic is dreams, a doorway to spirit. So we're going to talk about how to interpret those messages from spirit. So every Thursday, and that'll be tomorrow night. Also, like I said before, doing live readings there. So if you want to try me out, I do readings for really, really, really cheap. And so just get a taste and have a resource. And if not, scottcruzpm.com. You can book a one-on-one personal session with me, life readings, intuition builder, or mediumship if you have someone in the spirit that you want to contact with.
And I'd hop on that too, because I know this guy's astrology. He's not going to be available in about 4 months. Just saying. Yeah, we'll talk about it after the show due to the prison. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. And you can get me on Friday nights, where I open up with Namaste Today at 8 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central, and then Astrolingo, which is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and 8 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific time. Nonetheless, it'll be on YouTube, and I'm trying new stuff, y'all. Namaste Today, if you noticed, but I'm changing the format. I'm making a difference. Yeah, we're going to be talking more about sun signs now, more sun sign astrology, and just talking about the stories between the signs, because we feel like it's time to talk about that aspect. And if you want all the planets and all the stuff, then pay for it.
I would say too, like, be easy. Like, Christopher's doing new things. He's trying new formats. He's like, be easy. Some people are so rude because they don't like change. It's like, he's finding a new rhythm. Like give him a break.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah. People don't like when things change, but I got news for you. The universe is actually expanding at an increasing rate. So it's like, you're not going to sit still, baby. You're not going to sit still. Like, the entire universe is expanding at an increasing rate. So those people are like, I want to stay here.
Just be patient. Like, go through the changes, see what happens, and like give constructive feedback. It'd be great too, And so, I see you. As a brother, I definitely see you've been trying to like navigate better for what's on your plate, and I support that. I support you doing that. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, long story short, I'm going through a transition where I'm going back to being talent, because I've been CEO and head of operations of Serious Joy for a long time. We finally have the people to come in and like take over that part for me. I finally can get off of that. So, I'm going to explore what my fun is, which is performance. I love being on camera. I love performing.
It only took you 6 months to listen to me. So that's great.
I listened to you the entire time. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it right away. People go, you don't listen. I'm like, you mean I don't follow what you listen is what you're saying. I don't do what you command, right? Because I'm a Taurus. We got our own time. Like, it's like in my head, I always listen. I'm like, okay, I can implement that in 2028. Like, I know how long does it take to implement or whatever. And sometimes I have to get through just the old thing of like, being wrong or being, sometimes it just takes time. You hear something that's true and you're not ready to cope with it.
Just remember the magic that made Serious Joy. Remember that magic, because that's what you want to.
Oh yeah, I am remembering it. No, I'm back to the beginning. Like I said, like I've had a resurgence of total resurgence of my artistry and who I am, and I'm staying up at night thinking about stuff I can't even afford, but I just want to do it because So yeah, we're in the same boat, dude. I think that it's time for let's wrap up with this. And so what we're saying earlier, it is time, folks, to do your dream. Like, if you want to do your dreams, do it. This is the time. Just fuck it, do it. There's a good chance it could happen. And there's a good chance the world needs you to do that, because that will be what shakes things up. Is that all these light workers, 100,000, 200,000, what's it, light workers, there were big, they say there's 100,000 light workers, right? That are all, in hiding. It's probably you with your idea, folks, especially if you're watching our show, you're a leader, and so we're leading out loud. It's time to do it. So do it. The universe is supporting you. Worst case scenarios, you have to wait till next lifetime.
And don't leave with regret. Don't leave this world with regret. Like, oh, I care too much what people thought, and I didn't really get to express it. Like, what do you have to lose? Nothing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. In fact, time is going so fast. Don't, enjoy every moment going forward. That's my last note for this week. Enjoy these moments, because they're going to go by fast and they'll never come back again. We're in a time where it will never happen again, because it's a one of a kind part of
that's time. That cycle.
So,
that's that cycle.
All right. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Unicycle. All right. So that's what we have this week. Next week, we'll be talking about energetic hygiene. And we've already talked about your story. So, you guys, don't put up with the shift show. Use your authentic voice and lead out loud. We'll see you next week. Hell yeah.
Someone asked me like where did I get the muscles from? I've always been muscular. My camera doesn't show. Like, always,
Oh yeah.
People see me first and like, oh, you're bigger than I thought you would be. I'm like, yeah, because I turn the side, you can see it, right? But
he's huge, guys. Like, he shows up like in a tank top and like God damn.
It's dad bod.
Seriously, I had no idea. You like feed a tribe for 2 weeks.
It's a dad bod. It's the gut. I'm
Coming up on Serious Joy. Details make the difference. Join astrologer Robbie Hunt for her self-study hall lecture about using Virgo energy for personal achievement. Airing live this coming Wednesday. Only on SeriousJoy.com.